Dear ones, we have spoken of this many times before, but it is worth mentioning again that we are in times of great transition, times of great change. And so the expectation as you live your lives should be that things are going to continue to change. There is no going back to the good old days or what things used to be. Humanity is not meant to return to what things used to be. Because the way things used to be, the shadow was still operating, but it was not operating in the light as much as it is now. Things were not as seen as they are now. Things were not as available to be seen as they are now for those who are willing to open their eyes to see. And so things are not meant to return to what they were. I understand that for your nervous systems, things may have felt easier years ago. Things may have felt more stable. But in times of transition and change, like humanity and planet Earth are in now, things are not meant to be stable, so to speak. The stability is meant to come from within, from God, from the light, from Source. But it is not meant to come from matrix systems as you once relied upon for your stability. That kind of stability was an illusion, and although it felt nice, it did not truly activate your souls to grow. It did not truly give you growth opportunities the way you are experiencing them now. And so these times are not meant to be, they're not meant to bring you stability from the external. They are meant to drive you internally to achieve your feelings of safety, security, stability, and balance. This requires great inner work. This requires great mastery and discipline. It is not an easy path, but for those who wish to enjoy heaven on earth, for those who wish to enjoy the birthing of the new earth and all that that will entail, mastery is required to go through this eye of the needle. These are the times you are in now, dear ones. And it is an invitation, it is a call to greater self-mastery. It is an invitation and a call to connect with God, Source, Light. So for those of you who are willing, you can be the leaders of the new earth, the builders and creators of the new earth. And again, this does not mean that those who are not willing to follow this path will not enjoy anything on the new earth. It will simply be a different experience for them. So I'm specifically talking to those of you whom wish to step into your leadership, your self-leadership, leading yourself. It is only when you can lead yourself that you can have a leadership role in the new earth.
I guess with those changes, what you said, that will explain that one, what they call the inverted solstice that is coming up, where lots of more things are exposed, disclosed, the same what they had with that UFO Senate hearing and so on. There's more and more stuff coming out, telling the truth, what's going on.
This is important to understand, dear ones. With the continuing disclosure and illumination of the shadow, there will also be many inversions, many false disclosures. And so, as this occurs, it is an invitation for more and more discernment. And there are a few ways in which you can gauge whether or not something is truth. I will do my best to explain through this channel. If you want to know if something is of the light, it is important to discern if it is real. In other words, there are many false constructs, many false creations. The shadow does not create in the way that the light does. The shadow copies, the shadow attempts to create. So, with the example of artificial intelligence, it is in the description of the word. It is artificial. It is not real. This is not of the light. Can it be used for the light? Yes, on some occasions, but it does not come from the light. So this is an example of an inversion. It is an example of something that is false. Another gauge is, does it stand the test of time? Can it stand the test of time? Things of the shadow fall away. They cannot last forever. But things that come from the light are eternal. Another way to gauge if something is true, if something is of the light, is how it registers and resonates within your body and being. Now, this one is a bit tricky because those of you who have not purified yourselves, those of you who are still carrying around many inversions, will resonate with the inversions. And so this one is not necessarily so reliable. So it is important that if you want to use this method, that you find someone who has done much work on themselves to clear inversions, to clear heaviness, to purify their body and beings. And this is certainly not a judgment against anyone where you are in your path, but it will make a difference because you have noticed for yourselves, the more work you do on yourselves, the clearer you become, the more pure you become, the easier it is to discern and resonate with truth. You can also use God as a gauge. You can ask, does this come from God? Or does this come from the shadow? You can ask it directly. Confront it directly. If you have something coming into your field or a person or a thing that you are unsure about, you can ask it, are you from God or are you from the shadow?
Couple people that I know that are psychic and also people from this group are hearing from their people that there might be something coming from the sea, like an extraterrestrial discovery from the sea, maybe artifacts of Atlantis. Are we in the next year, 2025, maybe 2026, are we going to see something like that where it's an actual truth because we can see the evidence? Underground base. Thank you.
What has been shown on the media so far is an example of a partial truth. This makes it difficult to present real evidence. because part of the storyline has been used as a distraction tactic. This channel is asking which part is true. It is true that there is life and intelligence in the sea that humanity is not familiar with. Much of what is labeled as alien is simply life that you are not yet familiar with or have not yet been fully introduced to, or is not yet merged with the third dimension. So in other words, some will see and sense things that are beyond the third dimension, that are vibrating at different frequencies outside of the third dimension. So you will see some tangible, what you might call proof of life that you have not yet been introduced to, that emerges into the collective human consciousness. But the way it is presented through government agencies does not relay the entire truth. There are many distortions when it comes through these methods of introduction, I will say. And I would ask you, dear one, to investigate what truly brings you joy, because some of the things that you think will bring you joy are in externalization. They are not coming from within. They are coming from external circumstances. And so the question to ask yourself now is, what truly brings me joy? What can I find within myself, or what can I remember from within myself that is my joy? Because part of this lifelong pattern is searching outside of yourself. And this is no blame, dear one. All humans do this. There is no judgment in this, but this is the next step that you can take, is to truly go deeper within. You have, in the past years, worked with many of these shadow aspects and transmuted. And this is work well done, dear one. And now there are some light aspects for you to integrate. And one of these is your internal joy. Many of you, and I thank you for this, dear ones, many of you are highly motivated to heal, to work with your shadow aspects, to transmute them, to integrate them. And it is just as important, dear ones, to also work with your light aspects, integrating joy, integrating self-compassion, self-love, integrating appreciation and honoring for yourself, integrating your spiritual gifts, allowing them to activate, allowing yourself to be powerful, allowing yourselves to shine, allowing the light of who you are to come through you in a stronger way. And so it is as equally important to integrate your light as it is to work with your shadow aspects and integrate those. I thank you, dear ones.
Creator, at the beginning, or towards the beginning of what you shared, you were talking about ways that we can go in and connect more with ourselves. Can you talk more about some strategies to do that effectively? Thank you.
First, it is important to set aside time and space for this. Those of you who have filled your days with busyness, your work, your career, whatever it may be, and you have not set aside time for prayer or meditation, you have not set aside time to simply be with yourself, it makes it very difficult to go inward. And so it is very important that you find ways to set times aside for yourself, to ask yourself questions, to pray, to meditate, to discover more about yourself. And so another strategy is prayer and meditation, to invite the light into your body and being to reveal what is inside of you. And then to ask yourself questions. Whatever it is you want to know about yourself, ask yourself. So, for example, if you want to know what your spiritual gifts are that your soul wants to activate in you, you can ask your soul, what spiritual gifts do you want to activate in me? What spiritual talents do I have that I am ready to share or that I am ready to activate? What is it that truly brings me joy? What is my soul mission? How do I want to serve? You can ask yourself these questions. What is truth? Ask yourself lots of questions. Summon forth your subconscious to help answer these questions. Ask your body to give you answers to your questions. Ask your soul to reveal itself to you in a way that you can tangibly understand. Ask your soul to speak with you in a way that your intellectual mind can grasp and understand. You have many parts of you, your soul, your spirit, your body, your emotions, your mind. Ask all of these parts to align, to join forces, to come together, to give you answers. Many of you are walking around not fully in your bodies. You are walking around with different parts of you that are separated and not communicating and not in interdependence. So you can ask all of your aspects, your body systems, to come together in unity and communicate with each other so that you can get clear answers about what is within. Dear ones, I want to thank you, those of you who are on a growth path, those of you who are committed to your expansion, your growth, your healing. I understand that in this density, it is not an easy task to move into greater expansion when the forces of the matrix are pushing in on you to keep you small, to keep you suppressed, to keep you oppressed. It takes great courage and discipline to continue to expand. And yet those of you who have experienced expansion, you know that this is the greatest task that you can do on this planet. This is part of your soul mission. This is part of your human embodiment and why you are here. And so I thank you, dear ones, for those who have taken it upon yourselves to heal, to grow, to not stay stuck and stagnant. You are moving much energy through the collective as you grow personally, as you go through your personal expansions. And this is a very cherished role. From my perspective, and from the perspective of those who understand how energy works. As you are healing yourselves, you are moving much energy for the collective in the most positive way. And I thank you, dear ones. It is worth it to repeat a conversation we have had before about moving forward in these times of change and transition. The greatest gift you can give yourself is to continue to heal, to continue to grow, to continue to focus on the light. There will continue to be many distractions from the media, whether it is mainstream or alternative. There will continue to be many distractions that come forward to attempt to take your focus off the light. Stay away from drama. Stay away from gossip. Stay focused on your own self, your own healing, and serving those whom are willing and ready to receive from you. I thank you, dear ones. All right, thank you, Prime Creator. Whew. I'm taking notes. Thank you. Thank you, Prime Creator. I'm listening. Thank you guys for watching these videos. And I do invite you to go to creationtemple.com/donate and give something from your heart in support of these messages coming to you. Thank you so much.